Good evening, everyone. Uh, may I request Harvinder ma'am to mute herself? Thank you very much. So, I'm Yachna, and I'm the resource person for this evening with you. I am from Tagore International School, New Delhi, and I will be taking you for an experiential journey for the next 1 hour. Good evening, Anita ma'am. I hope I have not done the wrong thing by starting before you said anything. Thank you very much. All right. I may I also request Inayat ma'am to switch off her camera so that there is no distraction. Inayat ma'am, Right, thank you. So, as you already are aware, that the topic for today is the teaching strategies in social science. You may call it as teaching strategies or methodologies. Both are the same. However, there is a lot that we could definitely explore in this. And I am coming with the past experience of about 15 years in the profession of education. So I'm hoping that my experience sharing is going to be helpful to you. So without further ado, I think we can start. I'll share my screen with you all. Anita ma'am, may I also just request you to record it if possible? Please record this session if it is possible for you. All right, so I can see that my screen is visible to you all, and I will take you to my presentation. I think because of some technical glitch, it's just lagging a bit. Please be patient. I'll be there with you soon. Okay, so I hope everyone can see the presentation now.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, thank you. All right, so when we say teaching strategies in social science, what are your expectations when we are holding this session? What exactly are your expectations? If you would like to share some with me. Yes, I'm still waiting for some response. You may just speak or you may put in something in the chat box. I'm sure everybody is having some expectation. Yes, Ankita ma'am.
How to make class more interesting. When it comes to social studies, students think that it's quite boring. History class is so boring. So how to make it more interesting?
Okay, right. Yes, Ananya ma'am. Even you were saying something.
Yeah, I often use presentations made by me, like when we were discussing about the strategic position of India and how India played a role in the world economy in the past and the present. Today, I showed them a whole lot of sea routes, how India was connected with Persia, the Silk Route through the land routes, how they were connected, showed them the coins, which were sources of information to say the India's trade, how it spread towards the world.
So,
Showed,
ma'am, your expectations from the presentation today.
yeah, particularly I would always prefer to take them around through the world to bring everything alive in front
No,
of them.
ma'am, I think you did not really get me. I'm asking you that what are your expectations from the session that I'm holding today? I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay, so well, I would like to find out if there are any other technological
Got you.
devices
Right.
that I can use other than the PPT or the
Okay.
video.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. I can also see that many of you have also mentioned that you would want to try and make the class happier than what it is already. So, ma'am, presentation on how to make happy teaching. All right. So, you want to make your classrooms more happier. Wonderful. So, I'm hoping, yes, somebody by the name of Do or Die, Don't Cry. Yes, sir. You want to say something?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Madhuraj Bandi here.
Yes, sir.
So, in our region, especially the children are opting for Science faculty.
Other streams. I got you, sir. Thank you. I will try to, give you a solution to that problem. All right, I got
Thank
you.
you.
I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Thank,
but I think without wasting much time, I'll move ahead. But I got your
thank you.
point. And why is it that the students are moving away from humanities, and you would like to figure out to get them interested in the subject and stay
Yes, ma'am.
interested?
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Thank you. All right. So we are going to, I'm hoping that this session is going to help you out with that because I have made the session keeping in mind all these needs that one may have as teachers. So we're going to begin, and I'll tell you in a nutshell that what to expect from today's session. This is what is coming up. So I will be sharing with you the teaching strategies. I will tell you what exactly does it mean. Unless we know whether we are understanding it properly, we wouldn't know how to move further. The second thing that we would try to cover is the challenges that are there in social science. One of the participants here, right at the beginning, had mentioned that I figure out that in my classes, the students do not take interest in social science and they find it rather boring. Okay, so I will, probably bring in more challenges that I, as a teacher, also face, and I'm sure others are also, going to agree with me that yes, there are certain challenges that are associated with the subject itself. Next, we are going to talk about what is the need of the hour. What is it that we must keep in mind when we are planning our strategies? And last but not the least, I'm going to discuss some of the strategies which already exist. It could be that many of you are already using those strategies. It could be that some of you are not using them at all. So maybe you will get some idea. The ones who are already using it, I'm going to, help you in re-evaluating whether you are going ahead with those strategies in the right manner or no. And before I leave, I will share a relatively newer teaching strategy so that even if you did not find anything else in the repertoire of strategies that I will be sharing with you, uh, there is something new to take back with you so that 1 hour doesn't seem like a wastage. Okay, so we are going to proceed from here. So pedagogy, what exactly do we mean? Strategy, what do we mean? That's exactly what we're going to talk about. So whenever we talk about a strategy in teaching, research on teaching, learning, and outcomes shows that quality pedagogy is identified as a key lever for two things. One is improving children's outcomes. So at the end of the day, when we are in the classroom, when we are taking our students into a direction of knowledge, the idea is the learning outcomes. So we always start with the learning outcomes. That's the way our lesson plans are, always designed. And the way we are going to teach, the pedagogy, the methodology, the strategy that we're going to use, it is not going to be considered as a good strategy unless the students have found themselves improving in terms of those outcomes. The second thing that always helps us engaging a particular strategy is whether the students are able to get a very strong foundation for the ongoing learning and development in all aspects of life or no. So you need to remember that whenever we are talking about social science, our focus should not only be that they should know where is India located on the world map, or what is the climate of India, uh, without any solid ground. The aim should be that they should be using this knowledge further, because unless that is our goal, we are only training them for the upcoming exam. That's it. So pedagogy basically is, a singular term used for many different types and variations of teaching. You already mentioned right at the beginning that your expectations are you would want to try out newer ways in order to deliver the content in the class. And that exactly is pedagogy. So the variety, when it's taken together, it is referred to as pedagogy. It is the instructional techniques and methodologies taken together that allow the learning to take place. So learning is not going to be effective, is not going to be qualitative unless the pedagogy is sound. So learning has to, when you are learning how to manage the various activities that you're planning or that you're designing, and the way you are going to give the instructions in the classroom, that is something that can empower the educators to facilitate effective learning among the students. So we are not going to just put in the information into an empty picture. We are A good pedagogy should be such that you are facilitating. That means you're helping the children learn themselves. So whenever we are thinking about a teaching strategy, I think these are the things that everyone must keep in mind, and then evaluate whether whatever you are planning is worth your effort or no. All right. So I'm going to start with the first thing that one of the participants had mentioned right at the beginning. Uh, Students find a lot of things, related to social science. I will take you through all these four one by one, but I would want you to tell me. One of the participants said that the second one is something that she has heard the students saying a lot. But are the other three that I have mentioned also sound familiar to you? Have you heard your students saying such things? That there is too much of text in social science. I can't understand social science. It's very difficult to remember,
Yes,
right?
yes, actually.
Okay,
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Absolutely. So I think we all are sailing on the same boat, and it is so wonderful to see that we all are in the same faculty. And there is one thing that we all keep hearing. So once we know the problem, see, it's always that if we want to cure any disease, the first step is the diagnosis. So we already are aware of the diagnosis. We do know that these are the various symptoms that we see in our classes, because the students feel that there is a lot of text, there is too much to read. Students really get overwhelmed with massive topic and lesson size. In class 10, for example, the very first topic, the rise of nationalism in Europe, it's like so much of information in around 30-40 pages. So it is something that the students really get intimidated with. So for days together the same topic continues, and when doing self study also, the students feel that the preparation of just one topic takes so much of time. Whereas in other subjects, you keep moving ahead, and it's relatively, shorter a duration. Another problem that children often talk about is that it is really, really boring. With so much to learn, students start finding the subject boring. They find it monotonous, and they feel that it is very time down. You just have to sit. You just have to keep reading the same book page after page, and that is something that children obviously would not like. In fact, if I were to say that I, as an adult, if were expected to sit with a book for hours together because I'm supposed to be preparing for an upcoming exam, let's be fair, even I'm going to get bored. So there is no scope for lively experiments in social science with oozing, reaction sounds that are coming up, which students really like about science. The activity quotient is really low. Mostly, that's what the students feel in social science, and that is probably because the lecture method is something that the teachers also find very convenient in order to teach social science, in order to deal with social science. Many students also say that we can't understand social science. Now this is one peculiar cause which I personally feel is causing the other problems too. I cannot understand, so I, find the text to be too much, and I find it boring. So the main problem, according to me personally, I don't know whether you will agree with me or no, is that the students find it difficult to understand. Social science requires too much of reading, and given the fact that the students have limited attention span, and understanding and comprehension of the textual material stops after a while. So such a beautiful subject that loses its charm, and it becomes really, really scary for the students. uh, Another problem is that since they do not understand, so they try to just memorize and mug it up. And therefore, one thing you forget, the remaining things that you had associated with it also are forgotten with it. So it's like simply water thrown over whatever you had memorized the last whole night. And the parents would say, "Ma'am, itna padta hai, ma'am, itna padti hai, pata nahi number hi nahi aate iske." And the child would say, "Ma'am, I can't remember. I mean, I had studied, I sat with it, but I don't remember it." So with difficult vocabulary and too many technical terms, learning and remembering social science really becomes difficult. Now, this is again because of several reasons, which I'm going to try and cover up as we proceed further. Let's come to another thing. if these are the problems associated, then as Sir had mentioned, the consequence is that the learners look forward to bidding goodbye to this subject forever as soon as class 10th is over, because till class 10th, social science is a compulsory subject. So they have to stick with it. But as soon as class 10th is over, they don't want to look back towards social science. So if you know the problems and if you agree with me with the problems, how do you choose your pedagogy to tackle such hindrances and challenges? If I were to ask you, ma'am, and other participants also, you know that the students are finding the subject boring. So, are you as a teacher trying to do something to solve this problem, which you know is there? Anybody would like to share that? How are you tackling with this problem? Let's share it with each other.
By asking them to make mind maps
Okay. So,
so
ma'am,
that
you do that with every topic. You tell
uh,
them, let's
yes,
make
at
mind
least
map.
important points we ask them to just for example how many types and all, so
So,
that
which problem are you trying to resolve with it, ma'am?
uh, in very less time they should bahart all the things very soon and all.
Okay. So, you're helping them to remember facts. Am
Yes,
I
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. What about boring? What about boredom that is associated with the subject? What are your teachers
Using the
doing about
smart
it?
classes and all, using smart classes, showing them videos to make them
Okay.
interesting live.
Okay. Right.
Ma'am,
Uh,
I
yes,
give
Ankita, ma'am.
away real life.
Let's come to one person at a time. I think Deepa, ma'am, has already
Yeah,
started speaking. Yes, Deepa, ma'am. Share.
yes, ma'am. I give away them real life examples, like connected to the real life situation. Any
And
of the
their own
topic, mainly from the
surroundings.
civics. Yeah, on
Okay.
surroundings. So it become
So, ma'am,
easy
is it
them to
possible for
understand.
you to do that or build that connection in every aspect of social science? Are you able to do that with history?
Yeah, history. Yes, I connect him and make it interesting in like many ways. I connect them with the present situation, and if it is like what was in the past also. Now,
Okay.
why they are like this? Why they are having this kind of life? Like why they are getting got freedom, and how they got. Like if it is being connected, then they are enthusiasts, and even they are asking counter question to me. Why it
Hmm.
is happening like
Hmm.
that? And
Okay. Right. Yes,
like
Ankita, ma'am.
Like I usually start my topics with general discussions,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
supports more of public speaking, what they think about that. Like recently, I started with equality.
Okay.
So
Right. I
I
got
just
you.
sat down and told them, take 15 minutes, think what comes in your mind by hearing this word equality.
Hmm.
And you
Okay.
won't believe they gave wonderful answers to me.
Answers. Indeed. I can't even, doubt that. I'm absolutely impressed with that. Okay. Yes, Saroj, ma'am. You were also wanting to say something? Miss Saroj Sharma, you've unmuted yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think she's having. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So, do
No,
you have
ma'am.
a solution to the problem?
I can make my subject interesting, ma'am. I can say the students to give the time more for the subject. Actually, my problem is this कि जो students हैं वो मेरे subjects के लिए time less निकाल पाते हैं because due to the burden of the maths and science, because
Okay.
they understand that the maths and science because of the results you mean to say this, या फिर otherwise I mean to say this, they are taking lightly as an SST subject. They are taking lightly. They're not giving
Okay.
the more
Right.
attention to this subject.
So yes.
This is
Okay.
my
So the other
basic problem.
subjects are more time consuming. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Other
They are
subjects are
more.
more time consuming.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's just face it that a student will not like to come to another subject. Ananya ma'am, may I just request you to mute yourself? Okay, so this is only going to happen if the students are not finding the subject relevant or they're not finding it interesting. Because if they find something interesting, then the subject is going to attract them. And they would not like to study probably something else, some other subject, which is more time consuming, according to you, but would rather study social science. So the reason why probably they are not, paying attention or they are not dedicating much time to social science as compared to science and mathematics is because it is very time consuming and very heavy for them. And that's exactly what we're trying to tackle through the various strategies that we're going to talk about as we proceed further. So I'm going back to my presentation and taking you further. So now what should be done? The answer actually has been given by the NEP, the National Education Policy, and it has come up with some brilliant ideas that can help us in dealing with all these problems. That is boredom and the heaviness of the subject, and the difficulty that the students face while learning the text. The difficulty that they face with the concern that there is too much to learn, and also that there is a lot to remember and they find it hard to remember. So before I proceed further, let me just tell you that what exactly is there in the National Education Policy 2020 that has been released by the Government of India. But I am aware that many of you may have gone through and may have been asked by your school to understand the NEP in great detail. But I would like to highlight certain aspects which are related to our topic today. So I'll just change the setting for you so that you can see it and also hear it. Just one second. I'll just change the setting for you to be able to hear it. If you could catch up with the content of this video, I'm sure you must have realized that there are certain terms that have been used very carefully, like critical thinking, collaborative classes, exploratory in nature, making the students move away from rote learning, also integrating art, making the classes more joyful, bringing in sports to the subjects, and all these are certainly associated with social science, even if you have not really thought about it. So, as Matt mentioned, that we are using the mind maps or the graphic organizers. Well, fantastic. That's a wonderful way of making the students feel that social science is not very cumbersome, and we can handle the too much of text that is there with it. But have you realized that when you are giving the mind maps, you are really not asking the student to think at all about it, but you are just giving it to the child in order to help, again, learning it in a roted way. So you are helping the child to mug up the things very easily. And if that is happening, then you seriously need to rethink about your pedagogy. If I were to ask you, are your classes collaborative? Probably you're going to say yes. I'm going to ask you, do you think you hold a lot of discussions and wherein the students are leading the discussion? Probably you're going to say yes. So most of the times, if anybody would have to ask you that do your classes look anywhere close to the one aimed for by the NEP, your answer is most likely to be yes. And here is where we need to just recheck whether it's a real yes, or is it something that we are just saying because we feel that we are filling in or we are doing things according to those terms. So one good thing is that even if we may not be doing the things in absolutely correct way, I'm not saying for sure you're not doing it in the correct way, maybe you are, and this is the right session to check that out. But certainly we all are gearing up to move towards the future, and we are in the present times because we know what these terms mean. Now, the fact also is that the challenges I spoke earlier, they are also resonating with us. That means even if you're doing all these activities, still if you're hearing your students saying that we find social science boring, we find social science absolutely, difficult to understand, difficult to remember, then even if we are doing all this, something is faulty for sure. So it's, easily proven. And that gives us a reason to plan our classroom activities, which are already being done, which whatever we are doing, considering a checklist. So I'm going to show you a checklist, and you see whether your activities, the way you plan, are fitting in according to this checklist or no. This would help you, and including me, always, it helps me to gauge the quality standards of our activities. So even if we are doing the activities, what is the quality standard that we are meeting? That is something that this checklist can help us. Please do remember that the primary goal of every teaching learning experience that is being generated has to shift from just imparting knowledge to ensuring the depth of the knowledge. So we should not really be happy with the fact that our students know it. We also need to be very careful about the fact whether the students know it deeply well or no. Okay, so I will share the checklist with you. The checklist has 4 components. I'll take you through each one of them one by one. Your pedagogy should be learner-centered. We have used this term, we have heard this term during our BEd and also our training session. I'm sure a lot of workshops that you may have attended, you must have heard about moving away from the teacher-centric to the learner-centered approach. Now, a learner-centered approach views learners as active agents. They bring their own knowledge. It is very, very important here that the students should be bringing in their own knowledge. Like ma'am had mentioned, that the students have their own idea of equality. I'm sure the way they have experienced equality around them, or they have seen equality through the various media, they all have their own understanding of the term equality. And that is what she found so delightful too, that, everybody had something interesting to share. And even though the term equality has one definition in the dictionary, each one will view it differently. And that is how, a learner-centered approach gets initiated. And all that is guided by their past experiences, their education, and ideas. And this impacts how they take on board new information and learn. If I have a certain notion of the term equality, then I am going to have, I'm going to receive the information that you're going to give me, keeping in mind my past experience only, even if you are trying to convey some other meaning to, equality. So what we are doing is we tell them the bookish language of equality, but the student is not able to get it, which we get really frustrated about because they have certain experiences which has made them understand the meaning of equality in a different way. They take control of their own learning in the learner-centered approach and are their own in charge, with the teacher playing the role of a facilitator. The teaching methods must enable the students to have access to the very best learning for shaping their own intellectual journey. So they have to decide on their own that how are they going to move ahead. Now, second thing on the checklist is it engaging? So when you're planning your activity, you have to also think, is it going to involve everybody? Is it going to be interesting for everyone? Is everyone going to be there with me in this activity? So these are very good questions to check the quality of your activity. So there are different types of learners. We all have learned about and heard about multiple intelligences. A good way to achieve this goal is to ensure that your class, that your chosen pedagogy or a combination of pedagogies, because sometimes we use different activities in order to convey a particular topic, is based on three steps. So a good thing to do is to engage everyone is that you have to make your activity get divided into three phases or three steps. The first one is the beginning, the second one is the middle, and the third one is the end. And the transitions between them. This is going to remind you of how a story is. So whenever you read a good story or you see a good story in the form of a movie, you would realize that there is a beginning to it, there is a middle to it, middle center portion to it, and then there is an ending to it. Your activities should have all these three very clearly. You must start with a hook activity, offer a crazy fact, tell a story, get the students to the edge of their seats and display. You may also display an image. And a ma'am here, just gave a word, and she could have shown an image of something which is, related to equality, and maybe law. Law is equal to everyone, or everyone is supposed to be equal in front of law. Instead of giving the word, that would have really made the students feel, oh, I don't know what she's going to talk about today. She's going here or there. And that is something that is going to get them hooked. The second, the middle part, is give them direction. So once you have got them hooked, give them directions, tell them some ground rules that today this is what you have to do. Keep in mind that you are not violating these basic rules, and also give them the task, assign them the task, tell them what is it that they have to do. This brings in the hands-on activity element. The students are going to remain excited because they're not getting bored. I mean, you have moved from one step to another step. The third step is closure. So at the end, make them not just say, okay, children, now that's all for today, and we are going to meet tomorrow. This is something that most of us do because, we feel that the time has gotten over because we did not realize that our planning or our activity is going to go ahead for so long. So never leave your activities like that. Always tell them to write down what they have experienced, or maybe pass on the mic, stop speaking yourself, tell them, share what was your experience today, what is that one lesson that you picked up today. Give an open-ended question and ask them to fill up. These are the various things that you can do one day at a time, so that there is variety. And taking the students to the next level, that means you have to facilitate divergent thinking. Leave them with this question, probably, what would have happened if? Now think about it. We are going to take it up tomorrow. Why wouldn't someone, do something like that? Building connections connected to today. Just ask them, whatever you experience today, I mean, in the name of so and so king or so and so figure or personality from the past, do you see that happening these days around you? So I think I think it was Saroj ma'am only or somebody else, I'm sorry, I don't remember that, who said that I try to connect, build the connect. Well, ma'am, you tell the connections. Why don't you push the kids to think of the connection on their own? That's how your strategy becomes engaging, because you're not serving anything on the platter, but you're leaving the kid or the children with some, curiosity. And once it is hooked, they're not going to feel, let me just do that sum or that science question, because they know something is irritating them, something is quizzing them, so they have to find out the answer to that. Also, make sure that your activity is time bound. You have the awareness that your class cannot go for beyond 40 to 50 minutes. So make sure that your strategies are very pragmatic, they are possible, they are very, very realistic, they're well planned, and so that you don't waste any time and your activity gets over as per the time. It is also not necessary that each activity has to end in one period. Your one topic or one learning outcome may continue for a couple of days. So whatever you're planning for one single period, just do it that you're able to complete it. Also, one very essential thing is that is your activity. Please check whenever you are choosing your pedagogy. Is it skill based or no? What are the skills that your children are going to get through that activity? CBSE emphasizes on the development of the 21st century skills, as we already know. Communication, creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, all these are skills. Media, information, and technology literacy. Are they able to realize and differentiate between valid information from the information which is something that should not be believed very easily? How do they check the quality of information? This is something that you can impart through your subject. Social science gives you a lot of opportunities. And of course, the life skills, that is something that the subject can certainly help the kids with. Now, what are the strategies that we are already dealing with? That is something that we are going to talk about right now. So you must be doing it, or if not, then probably you can note it down. Storytelling is a very popular strategy in social science, especially in history. So narrating the information in a well-woven, sequence with characters, a plot, voice modulation, situational developments, some sound effects. These are something that can really get the students engaged in the social science class. I read in one of the books that I had happened to lend my hand on. This is something that a person had mentioned, a teacher had mentioned. I am not a very good storyteller. I cannot move a lot. I cannot, bring that grand entry sound, etc., etc. Well, nothing comes easily. So keep trying till the time you get it. That is why, young children in the primary classes really like history, because they find it so interesting the way it is narrated. But by the time they come to the middle school, senior school, I'm sure you will agree that the senior school teachers don't really have that much capacity. Oh, who's going to tell the story now? Just read the book. You have to get into the habit of reading the book. Hands-on activities is something very important that everybody often tries to bring into social science. Models, props. I'm sure we all have made our own models and props while doing our B.Ed. Simple items, random products, just pick up some product. Consumer awareness, is one topic in class 10. And you can really do it with the help of so many products gathered together and asking the students, what should I be checking in this? How do I buy it? Etc. etc. Project based learning. This is another very popular strategy that has been ongoing for very long. CBSE makes it mandatory, is at least in ninth and 10th, that a project based activity has to be done. We often call it as PBL, by the way. So using inquiry based instruction in social science is absolutely a way to make lessons more engaging. Here you're pushing the students to go out and do some research, find out the answers to their own questions. And this is something that triggers your students. STEM projects is something that is mostly associated with only mathematics and science, but we can do a lot of such projects in social science. I'm very sure if you do a little bit of exploring yourself, you will find out some STEM-based projects that can be done in social science. That's a great option for the students where they become creative also, and they can work in groups too. So collaboration is something that can come into it. Audio visuals, YouTube videos, documentaries, telecasts, podcasts. I'm sure everybody is doing that. But a twist in the tail that you can do is give them a question before the video and tell them you have to find out the answer. I don't know how you're going to find out. Go from an easy question to a more difficult question, such that the students don't just get the answer out of the dialogues or what they hear, but something that they have to answer only after they understand what was the video trying to convey. So these are the various ways in which you can, bring about a new touch to your YouTube video classes that you are doing. Technology integration. Now, this is slightly different from audiovisuals, although even audiovisuals are a part of technology. But I'm giving you some newer ideas. There are so many social studies and geography websites and apps out there. Use the maps, the digital maps, and also the AR, the artificial reality, the VR field trips, Google Earth. That is something that most of us have explored during the pandemic time. Animation tools, e-flip books. These can be certainly tried. Presentation slides, interactive worksheets. This is something that you can find out a little more about, that how worksheets can be made more interactive with audio voices, etc. Games, quizzes, all these will come under the technology integration. Next is role plays, debates. We all know that this is something that was very easy to do in the offline classes, but certainly it's not impossible in the online classes also. So students can pick up certain random props and some drapes and make their own in-house costumes and do some dialogue delivery or enact. These are certain things that they can try. Debates can be held online. I have done it myself. So you are doing discussions, they can certainly be converted into debates, extemporaries, group activities like cooperative learning, collaborative learning. All this is something that has been done for quite some time. Blended learning is something new. So integrating technology with your the normal way of teaching, the offline way of teaching, the face-to-face interaction. That's called blended learning. Flipped classroom, force the children to come prepared for your classes, and then not by threatening them in terms of marks, but certainly to make them give them a nice activity for home also, and easy to do. Find out the answers, and that can be a good way to start your own classes. Field trips, obviously, the virtual reality makes it possible for now, and otherwise also mind maps, graphic organizers. These are the other tools that, ma'am, some of you have already shared with me. So these are the various strategies that we probably have been doing. If not, then you can reevaluate with the checklist that I have shared with you. No matter which pedagogy you choose to use, the Bloom's taxonomy is a relevant reference for ensuring the cognitive development of learners. So if your pedagogy fails to enable the students to move, to make them progress from level 1 to level 6, it is a sign of ineffectiveness of your strategy or method or methodology. So don't just leave your children with the capacity to recall what you want them to learn, but they have to learn to create something new with it. Only then your pedagogy can be called as successful or no. So you can see the image itself. At every step, what is it that the student should be able to do? Only then that child has reached that level is something that can be ensured. I hope I'm making sense to everyone. Are you all able to understand what I'm trying to convey?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes.
So, to help you out, I mean, I am not going to do one thing for sure, because I, as a teacher, always feel that when I go and attend workshops, people say so many, flashy things, but they don't tell us how to do it. So I'm giving you certain ideas here. I'm not going to, be like at least the kind of representatives or the resource people that I find many a times, not all the times though. So this is a pedagogy wheel that will help you. If I were to take you away from my slide for a while and show you, can you see this image?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll just make it a little, I'll just zoom it up so that you can see what I'm trying to show to you. Is it clearer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so remember and understand that's level 1. So these are the various activities that you can probably do. You can ask them to bookmark something. Mind mapping that you do, ma'am, is only for remembering and understanding. So that's only the level 1 that you're enabling your child to reach. Commenting on something, putting the entire information which is there in the paragraph right down in the bulletin point form. That is called the note making. Just do Google search, recall something. All these are the activities that the children will be able to do if they are at level 1. Level 2, when they have to apply, these are the activities that you can use to help them apply their knowledge. So whatever they have learned, ask them to do editing for a rough video. So maybe one group has made the video, ask the other group to edit it. Make a movie out of what you have learned. So that is another way in which in an online mode you can get them to do an enactment. So role play can be done. Present your views in, and make it time bound. I know for days together they can continue talking. So give them a 2-minute time to make a presentation. So they will know that they have to tell so many things in limited time. Which all points do we have to cut short? Which all points do we have to expand on? It develops a very good decision making skills in them. interviewing, mapping, stimulating, collect information, and make a diary entry. These are something that they're applying. Make a puzzle. Don't give them the puzzle to solve. Ask them to create a puzzle out of what they have learned. So they're going to apply their knowledge and set up some clues and then give a way to solve that puzzle. Then comes analyze. So you ask them whatever information you have learned, or give them a graph, or ask them to conduct a survey and create a graph, and then analyze, spreadsheet it out, and then create an advertisement based upon what are your observations with respect to your survey outcomes. All these are something that the students cannot do till the time they are analyzing things. Ask them to build a questionnaire to achieve a target, or you have to interview a person from the past. How will you build a questionnaire? So they will analyze that what are the worthy questions that are to be asked, what is it that I would like to delve into, why did you do this particular thing in the past, how would that person answer given the scenario in which that person was. This is how an activity takes the child to an analytical step. Then evaluate, ask them to suggest a remedy to a problem that they have discovered. So maybe they conducted a survey, they have found out through their analysis that one particular product, or one particular item, or one particular news paper or news item is more popular with the people, or news channel is more popular as compared to the others. Then ask them that how will you try to suggest, or make a recommendation to the channel or to the newspaper agency. What is it that they need to do, or what is your opinion after you have done the after whatever you have learned. Share your judgment. All these the students are then going to do. They're basically evaluating, they evaluate, they weigh whatever they have learned, and that's how they come up with their opinion. Creating, this is the last stage, the sixth stage, the topmost stage, which is not possible till the time the other stages have been covered. So here, the kind of activities that you can probably do is create something new. Maybe give them just an idea and create a story. Ask them to create a story or create a song. These days, since we are talking about art integration, create a song, create a painting to depict what you have learned. So these are, something which are going to require extreme in-depth knowledge, which is something that we are talking about. So social science has to move away from just giving knowledge and leaving it at that. Beta, ye exam mein aayega, just prepare. This is the kind of question that is going to come for 5 marks, 3 marks. You should have 5 points, 3 points. Well, how is it that they are going to find it useful in their life? That is something that you have to lay down for the kids. Only then the kind of interest that they take in science and mathematics are they going to show in social science too. So make it more logical, make it more practical, and you will get what you are aiming at. Okay, so let's move further, and I will take you to the next slide. And this is related to what next. So this is a circular. This is circular number 34 that has been issued by the CBSE. And it was issued in the year 2020. That means just a few months ago. And it gives you a list of pedagogies that can be used even in social science. All of them may not be possible in social science, but a majority, as you can see yourself, are definitely applicable to social science. And my recommendation for the day for you all is going to be this. Reciprocal teaching. So I'm going to tell you right now that what exactly is reciprocal teaching. And if you already are doing whatever I have told you and you're looking for something new, then probably this is something that you can take away from today and try it out. Now, as I mentioned earlier also, according to me personally, for my students, for my classes, I have discovered that the biggest problem is that they do not understand what they are reading in social science, and that is why they find it difficult to learn, and they find it boring, and they find it too much to learn. And this is a solution to this problem. And let me also tell you that I'm not telling and talking in air. It has been tried and tested in my class, so it is certainly doable. So I'll tell you what exactly is. So that is my recommendation. And now I'm going to take you to reciprocal teaching. What exactly is it? So reciprocal teaching, as you can see, I have given you some clues in the nutshell. It is closely related to reading. The students escape from reading, and that is why they find social science hard. From your experience also, I'm sure you will agree with me that those students who are good at English are the ones who do very well in social science, and they find it easier because they have a grasp over the reading capacity, and they also know how to understand the text, and they can express it easily. The problem comes with the majority, that is the average lot, which finds it difficult to read because they do not have a reading habit. So this is an answer to that problem, which is reciprocal teaching. This method can be used when the when the reading is going on and you're using it at that time. And how to use it? You use it either individually, or you use it with a whole group, or you use it with a whole class. That is something that is up to you. Now you will be able to decide upon that as you understand that what it is. So reciprocal teaching refers to a classroom activity where the students are shown strategies to better understand a reading. Okay, so these strategies get students more involved throughout the reading process, helping them stay engaged and improving their overall comprehension. So this technique can help the students improve their comprehension, and once the comprehension improves, certainly they will understand what they're reading, and then they will remain engaged with it. So the problem of you creating a mind map for them will be resolved because they will be creating their mind maps on their own, and you will be seeing, if you are doing it individually, 45 different mind maps on your table, and then you can compare and ask the students, can you tell me which one is the best? And they will be able to tell you because they will be so self-equipped. So I am telling you that reciprocal teaching is very effective in each other questions. They discuss, ask them to ask your question to another friend. The other person answers. And yes, thank you. Thank you. So I'm happy to hear that you are going to be finding this easier to do. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions that anybody has? I'm glad that you like the reciprocal teaching thing. Do you people think that reciprocal teaching is doable?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right. So you must try that. Sarabjit ma'am is talking about poster making. I'm sure you're already doing it. Ma'am, now ask them to think of think of an idea, or give the other student. One group can give the other student a topic to make the poster to. So that is something that you can probably try, because one student who is giving a topic, it is certainly requiring that child or that group to think about it. So that is something that the students can definitely try. Right. And also reduces your burden and makes you a real facilitator. Okay. Yes, Arvinder ma'am, the link has been shared twice, I believe. You are fully, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, that was Anand, sir. Right. All right. Thank you then. Thank you so much for your time. If anybody still has any
Yes,
questions, you are
ma'am.
most welcome to ask. Yes, Anand sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Even this was the first session in my life. Even I said I have means attended all the time actually. I'm assist
Okay.
teacher in Delhi Public School Amravati,
Okay.
and I have done many trainings like happy teachings in the classroom that I don't like even tried many time to join many and that, and this was the only first that I liked very much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your support.
Pleasure. Pleasure indeed. You have made my day by telling me that. I'm so glad to be of help to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye bye. Bye bye, everyone.
Right. Bye bye, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank
Really
you.
wonderful
Thank you for being
session.
there.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. It's a
Okay.
wonderful
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. All right. Okay. Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am. Anita, ma'am, too, for all your help all through. I'll take your leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.